Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some football. Right, so today what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a review on all of the Premier League games that have happened this week, kind of game week, and talk about them and my opinions on each one. And I'm going to kind of be looking back at the predictions which I've made as well, to see how well I've actually done with the predictions and see, any surprises or anything that's really happened. So we're going to be starting off from the first game, which was actually Everton versus Aston Villa, which I predicted a 0-0. Sadly I was wrong. It was 2-1 to Aston Villa, and Everton are so poor, man. They're so poor. They haven't got anyone that can score goals. It was such a poor game by Everton. Like, they didn't even score a goal in this, by the way. Aston Villa scored an own goal. Luca Digne scored an own goal, which gave them a last-minute goal. So it wasn't even like it was a game, like a close game at the end, because they scored a last-minute goal, and it was an own goal as well. It was a poor performance by Everton. Aston Villa performed a lot better than they did last week, and they were a lot more clinical. Danny Ings, beautiful strike, by the way. Oh, beautiful. I think Aston Villa played really well. Not great, not like perfect, but they played a lot better than they did last week, and these are the sort of games that they need to win against, like Everton's and stuff. I predicted a 0-0. I just didn't see either team scoring because of how bad Aston Villa actually was scoring last week. They didn't score at all against a pretty poor Bournemouth side, as we'll see coming up. I was struggling to see where their goals would come from if they weren't scoring against Bournemouth. But fair play to Aston Villa, they did score 2 goals and won the game 2-1. Moving on to Arsenal versus Leicester. Oh, yes, boys. Now, Arsenal did beat Leicester 4-2. I predicted 2-1 to Arsenal. Leicester are so poor, so poor. Danny Ward is one of the worst. That was one of the worst goalkeeping mistakes I think I've seen. People talking about David De Gea's one, which we'll obviously get onto at some point soon. That was one of the worst goalkeeping performances. That save where he just drops the ball was awful, genuinely awful. And Leicester actually had a chance to come back into the game at that point, because it was only 2-1 at that point. That made it 3-1, which wasn't very helpful. So, poor Leicester team. Vardy didn't get that penalty, which he shouldn't have, to be fair. Ramsdale played that extremely well. I respect Ramsdale for that, a really good goalkeeper. One I wish we had, to be honest. But Leicester just very poor. Daniel Amati starting is not the one, and the way it seems like Fofana's leaving, it's not looking good for us. I'll say that. I'm not looking forward to this season whatsoever. I just want us to be safe now this season, and I'm genuinely starting to get scared, I'm going to be honest. Now, this is the first 0-0 of the game week, and it was Brighton versus Newcastle, which was 0-0. I predicted 2-0 Newcastle. Now, I didn't watch this game. It was a 3 o'clock kickoff game. I'm just looking at the stats right now. It wasn't a great game, I don't think. For some reason, the stats aren't coming up. Oh, there we go. So it seems as though Brighton had the better game, actually. 13 shots with 7 on target to Newcastle's 4 shots with 1 on target. 54%, 0.5% possession to Brighton, to obviously Newcastle's 45.5% possession. So it seems as though Brighton had the better look of it, but I didn't really see this game, and I predicted 2-0 Newcastle just because I thought that they'd be performing a lot better this season, but drawing against Brighton and having the worst of it, where Brighton could feel like they should have won that game, is not a great start for them. Fair play to Brighton though, a great start to the season for them once again. Very strong, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Brighton again. A great team, even with losing 2 of their best players. I'm very impressed. Moving on to Man City versus Bournemouth, I predicted 3-0. It was 4-0. Gosh, it was a hard game for Bournemouth, man. I'm not sure what. Everyone knew this was coming. Everyone knew Bournemouth gets smacked about by Manchester City every single season. They had 1 shot on target to Man City, 7 on target, 19 in total to Man City, where 3 to Bournemouth. 66.7% possession by Manchester City, a dominant performance, and I'm just so happy that Erling Haaland did not get on the score sheet and only assisted 1. Thank the Lord, because if he would have scored, everyone had him as captain. I was actually going to get him in, but thankfully I didn't, and I kept Kane. It all worked out quite well for me in the end, as you'll see later coming on in this video. So I was quite close on that prediction. Obviously, I was 1 goal out on that one, but I got the general gist of what was going to happen in that one. Moving on to one of the ones that I've actually got right here. Now, I, for this one, did think it was going to be 2-2, Southampton versus Leeds, and I was actually correct for once. Now, that was a good prediction, in my opinion. Like, I knew these defences were poor, but I didn't realise they were this poor. Quite an even game. Leeds had the majority of the possession, but like shooting and shots on target stats very similar. And I think that while Leeds probably had the best of it, it was very even, and it was basically what I predicted. Both poor defences and not great, I'll say that. Moving on to Wolves versus Fulham. Now, I got the general one of this right as well. I predicted a 1-1. It was actually a 0-0. I should have gone for a 0-0. I was just hoping that Pereira would do something because he was in my fantasy team. He didn't. A bit of a shame there. But 0-0, kind of a boring game. Kind of what I predicted. 2 horrible attacking displays. Just not a great overall game, to be honest. But fair play to Fulham. Fair play to Fulham. You got 2 points already. That's a decent amount. Not too bad. More than Manchester United, let's say that, who are coming up next. Well, I predicted 2-0 to Manchester United, and clearly it was not. It was 4-0 to Brentford. Absolute storm of a performance by Brentford. Shout out Thomas Frank. One of the best managers, honestly. This guy, his pressing knowledge on when to press. They did amazing, and I was so impressed with Brentford, and how well they played against this team. 4 goals in 40 minutes, crazy. That is one of the best performances I've seen this season so far. Who would have thought Brentford would get the same score as Man City against Manchester United? That is crazy to me. But shout out Brentford, and obviously I got this one horribly wrong, and this is one that, yeah, I don't think anyone would have predicted, let's be honest here. If you predicted this one, you are a different specimen. Let me say that to you right now. Moving on to Sunday's games, we've got Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. Fair play, Nottingham Forest. You did exceptionally well. West Ham are still poor. I thought West Ham would bounce back, which they kind of did in the second half. Had a penalty, and it was saved by Dean Henderson. Amazing save, Dean Henderson. Poor penalty, but amazing save. Yeah, Nottingham Forest played well enough. West Ham had loads of chances where they should have scored. I think they hit the bar twice and had a penalty. Poor. I feel bad for them. I predicted a 1-0 West Ham. Obviously, it didn't turn out like that. But at the end of the day, I'm happy for Nottingham Forest. I am really happy for you lot. Moving on to the London Derby. Now, this got a bit spicy, where you had Conte and Tuchel talking back and forth, getting quite angry at each other, to be fair. I thought it was quite an interesting game. Actually ended up 2-2. I predicted 2-1 to Spurs. I thought Spurs would play a lot better than they did. They actually had to claw it back, and I think Spurs will be happy with the point. And I think Harry Kane, after the game, also said that he'd be happy with the point. Chelsea, great. And they should have scored quite a few more goals. That Havertz chance when Reece James whipped it in, beautiful. He should have scored that, let's be honest there. And even other chances where Havertz should have scored as well when Sterling backheeled it to him. Perfect chance. Havertz is just not a prolific goal scorer, let's just say that, and he's not going to be that really ever, in my opinion. But he's good enough, and he's getting in the right position. So hopefully for you Chelsea fans, it'll be there soon. Shout out to Harry Kane for getting me those last-minute FPL points. I actually turned the game off at that point because I thought the game was over, and then they scored. Disappointing for me, but I did see the goal. Yeah, great team performance there. And yeah, let's move on to Liverpool versus Palace, which I am going to be filming later on because the game is not until 8 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to be filming this and trying to post it at 10 o'clock, so this is going to be a late one for me. So yeah, it's going to be up a bit late, this video, but we'll get there. Right, so the Liverpool game has just happened. I'm just going to do a quick review. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I haven't got my microphone. It's 10 o'clock or something now, so I'm just going to be doing a quick review on the game, just a 30-second review, and that's going to be the end of it for me. Shout out to Liverpool for fighting back from that red card which you had. Nunez, silly challenge, but at the end of the day you fought back, and an amazing goal by Diaz as well, in my fantasy team as well. Amazing as well. But I just want to say well done for Liverpool for fighting back. You were at a deficit already, and then you lost the man as well. Yeah, it wasn't a great game for Liverpool, and it's obviously not what you want. but it could have gone a lot worse. I thought the mentality of Liverpool, except for Núñez, the rest of the players was amazing to fight back from that, and I was really impressed with what they did. Yeah, I'm just really... well, Liverpool obviously aren't happy with the start, drawing 2 games in a row to start off the campaign. It's not great, but it could have been a lot worse. They could have lost 2 games where they were behind in both for most of the game. So I think Liverpool should be happy with the points they've got. Obviously, they're on the same points as Leicester City, and we're in crisis. So there you go. But yeah, 1-1, not a bad prediction. I predicted 2-1 to Liverpool. Probably could have been if Núñez wasn't sent off, but there you go. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you have liked the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.